But from my standpoint, someone who is his friend, someone who loves him, I want to share some key lessons that hopefully you can take from me as you see me walk with joy, as you see me still pursuing the will of God on earth. So number one, in a desperate situation, the best place to be in posture to take is on my face before my Father. Even if when I get up, the answer has not changed. You couldn't have told me that somebody I know and love would go missing, right? It's different when you have to grieve and bury them in the ground. It's a whole nother thing when you don't know where they are. But even though that may not be your experience, the statement still stands, because many people walk away from God because they didn't get the answer that they want, or because the Bible is asking you to give Jesus your burdens and let the Lord sit with you in the pain, versus you being like, no, I want you to take it and I want you to give me what I want now. That's not always the way. That's not even how the relationship grows. And so this is a pivotal point for anyone who confesses Jesus as Lord. Will you grow or will you go? Because you haven't gotten the answer. You're hearing all kinds of noises like David did in Psalm 3. In Psalm 3, David said, "Many are those who say to me, there is no help for him in God." But although he knew that's what they were saying, the voices in his head, the voices that are around him, his response is, and this has been my posture as I've been on my face, but you, O Lord, are a shield for me. You're a shield for me. The second lesson is love. I no longer want to process love through the lens of self-protection or offense. This experience has taught me that there is a greater depth to love than what I've seen, known, or exemplified. That's a painful truth to come to. Paul says in Acts 24, "This being so, I myself strive to have a conscience without offense toward God and man." And I know what it's like to have a love, a conditional love that is rooted in offense, self-protection, self-preservation. Whereas Paul talks about in the Bible to love your neighbor as yourself, and to even extend my hand out to you in a way that where I'm not just considering myself, but I'm considering the need of a friend. I'm considering the need of my neighbor. And so you because perfect love casts out all fear. And that goes for why I would say yes to moving in courage. We say yes to moving in courage in business and opportunity. But what does that look like with a friend, with people, with my neighbor? How do I love someone that hurted me? How do I treat them if I say I forgive them? Or how do I consider them and think about them if I forgive them? So, yeah, healthy boundaries are good. But this situation sincerely taught me about the love of Jesus in a way that I realized I didn't give, but also that I didn't have. And at the end, I'll talk about how it really made me want to love better. From the love that I was telling my therapist that it's not right. It doesn't feel fair that couples and friends can have a disagreement or an argument and then have an opportunity to come back together and apologize or amend that or agree to disagree and still love one another, do life together. And it was actually on September 28th, 2024, where Zelig had texted me after we had got off FaceTime, and he said, "Actually, I do want to come out there to DC. I miss you, but I want to come into this event that's out there, and will you host me? Can I stay there at your place with you?" And out of all the times that we've spent in one another's homes, this was the first time where I said, "No, not this time." I really felt like I needed to say that. But nothing has hurt more than to know that that was the last opportunity that I got to love him and to be a friend to him. And so the reason why this lesson, be angry and sin not, sticks out is because I was angry, very angry that was pretty much our last conversation. And in situations like this, the enemy will see if there's a door. The enemy will see if there's a door to your pain, right? Because that's a vulnerable place to be when you are grieving or when you're in pain. And it's like depression turning to suicide, or stress turning to you overeating or giving into your flesh, or the unknown turning into distrust, and distrust in God turning into impatience, and impatience turning to you welcoming witchcraft. One of the lies of the enemy, while I was like on my face one night, was like, it was these things. Well, why don't you just die? You have no other reason to exist. You've done this imaginable thing. You didn't treat your friend right by letting him come to your home. And if you do live, just go and reach out to a psychic. They'll tell you what happened. God isn't answering you anyway. These are lies. These are lies of the enemy for me to replace the comforter for quick comfort, which is deceptive, which is sneaky, to steal, kill, and destroy. And so these like little opportunities that will come around, like false counsel, that's what David meant when he said, be angry and do not sin. Yes, it was wrong. Yes, this hurts. Yes, you don't know why they treated you that way. But do not sin. Do not let your anger, your hurt lead you through a door that will affect you long term in generations to come. I want to take you to another scripture in Psalm 4:4, where David is saying that even you, God, you get angry. He's a righteous judge. Like, God is a righteous judge. Psalm 5 says, for you are not a God who takes pleasure in wickedness, nor shall evil dwell with you. The boastful shall not stand in your sight. You hate all workers of iniquity. You shall destroy those who speak falsehood. The Lord abhors the bloodthirsty and the deceitful man. So best believe, even when it feels like, and this is what I've grasped the hold to, is that even when it feels like I don't have the answer that I want, I didn't get the immediate turnaround that I want, that doesn't mean that God is okay with what happened. That doesn't mean that he does not hear me, see me, or help me, because he does. And he'll do the same for you. Hold on to Psalm 4:4 and Psalm 5 and Psalm 5. All of it, actually. Psalm 7 says, my defense is of God, who saves the upright in heart. God is a just judge. God is angry with the wicked every day. If he does not turn back, he will sharpen his sword. He bends his bow and makes it ready. So, know that God is mindful of the pain that you feel, the things that you've experienced, and there's no greater comforter than him. There's no greater comforter than your Creator in that pain. And so if he gives you the answer that you wanted or doesn't, he is still good. He is still God, and he gets the last laugh. These winds that we call winds out here are incomparable. To the last laugh. Lesson number 3. There is healing in the transparency, because transparency welcomes transition. I've seen that for myself, that in being honest, with the right circle of people, You know, my dad, for example, my therapist. I never tried to fake it through this process. Like, if anything, if I showed up on social media, or if I'm mainly in private, the honesty just shows, it heals self, but it also shows other people that you can grieve and still love Jesus. You can grieve and still be a light through grief. It's really possible. Psalm 6, verse 6, David cries, I am weary with my groaning. All night I make my bed swim. I drench my couch with my tears. I'm not lying when I say I felt that. I've never heard myself wail, make a bed of tears the way that I have walking through the grief of someone that I love going missing. There's so many layers to that. You don't know where they are. All of the plans, the dreams, the videos, the pictures. Those things make you wail. Those things make you mourn and grieve and cry. I've walked walks wailing in the night in tears to the Lord. I didn't have any words but to wail and cry. And that can seem like a moment that's just a moment, but it's really a moment of healing. It's really a moment of transparency. You just didn't say anything, but your tears said it. Your tears said it. And so it's okay to be transparent and walk through the transition that it welcomes. Not so much because the world says move on or because the world is still moving. No, God is in control of time. But because God is still with you. That is why it's okay to be transparent and welcome the door of transition that comes with that. December 31st, I had another big wail, another big moment of weeping. You know what's crazy? Even Zelig's mom, I remember coming to the house in South Carolina and staying in his room and seeing the last thing he did there, seeing his headphones that I now have on my ears, seeing his pen, his lip balm, his clothes, seeing and laying where he laid his head, seeing his open shampoo. It was too much. When he got to like month 3, I was in his room wailing again. And his mom comforted me. His mom, I don't know how long we were there. It probably was over an hour. Time went. But I needed to let that out. And she just comforted me. And so I couldn't hold that in. But that that transparency welcomed a new level of transition. So when December 31st came, my birthday is January 1st, I didn't know how I was going to make it into my birthday. I wept because I didn't want to let this year go without him being there in the next year. I wept because it felt like if I welcomed the transition that was in front of me, this new year, this new birthday, that I was going to be leaving him. It felt like that. Like I wept before the Lord, making another bed of tears because I knew that this transparency, that this weeping was an opportunity to move forward and trust Jesus and hold his hand through it. But I didn't know if I could do it because I felt like I was leaving him. Number 5. Pain happens to everyone, but it leads you to Jesus. Pain happens to everyone, but it leads you to Jesus. It should. It can if you let it, because that's what, if you are to go through pain, that's what it was meant to do. I heard Victor Thomas say it like this: there is no life outside of Christ. Your success won't do it for you. Your relationships won't do it for you. A certain amount of money won't do it for you. Drinking it away won't do it for you. Sexing it away won't do it for you. Even good things won't do it for you. All of these things are good, especially under the confines of marriage and the things that the Lord has given you. But looking for all of these things to sustain you outside of Christ are just things, and things that will perish. But above all these things is always going to be the Word of God. The King of Glory. And I just want to say that for me, if this has done nothing else, it has made me see love and life through the lens of Christ, which is to give to the poor, use my gifts like it's the last day to use it. Love my neighbor as myself. Walk in the fruit of the Spirit so that I can go out and make disciples of all nations. I love people differently now. And so let the pain not take you away from Christ, but let it lead you to Him. He's not vertical to your experiences or your pain. He's parallel, meaning he walks with you through it. He leads you and guides you through it. He's for you to overcome it. It's possible. So in your pain, Jesus is there. On the side of the pain, his purpose must continue.